Nvidia's GTC 2025 keynote is less than 14 hours away. And on today's episode, I want to take a closer look at what the market is expecting from this massive event and why the market believes it could be a catalyst for Nvidia stock. So let's get started.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, first, let's just take a closer look at price action. Nvidia today was down roughly 1.7%, where some of the other players were up a nice amount. Luckily for Nvidia investors, the past 5 days have been pretty good, with the stock up roughly 11.8%. Now, what I'm going to say is what usually happens with events, but remember, just like the rest of the market, historical data doesn't guarantee future results. But typically what happens with big events like this is the stock price tends to run up early, right? Tends to run up right before the event. And after the keynote or during the keynote, expectations are not met and stock prices start to decline. Now, could that happen in tomorrow's keynote? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Now, as a long-term investor of Nvidia, this is going to be my prediction. I believe what we're going to hear from Nvidia is going to be extremely bullish for long-term investors. Now, I am not a trader, so I'm not going to say I care much about what happens in the short term, but I would guess the stock continues to be very volatile, and most traders are probably going to try to make a quick buck, and I'm not sure that quick buck is going to happen this time. So I kind of want to look at what analysts and the overall market is expecting. And here's going to be more like a GTC preview. And if you want to stay up to date with semiconductor news, make sure to check out my free daily semiconductor newsletter, whatthechip.happened.com. For example, today we did cover a lot of topics like GTC's 2025 preview, some of the topics I am discussing in today's episodes. Google did have some reports that they are changing maybe some partnerships around for their TPUs, and Cadence announced a team up with Intel Foundry. Again, all that is completely free, and you can check it out at whatthechip.happened.com. So in the most recent earnings from Nvidia that happened on February 26th of 2025, Jensen mentioned that he wants us to come join him in GTC in a couple of weeks, where we're going to talk about Blackwell Ultra, Rubin, and other new computing, networking, reasoning AI, physical AI products, and a whole bunch more. Thank you. So again, just from here, what Nvidia CEO kind of told us a few weeks ago, we can already understand the products that are going to be announced. Now, Blackwell series, this is going to be the most anticipated event, and I'm going to say this is a guarantee announcement during this presentation. And for those that are not familiar with Blackwell Ultra, this is going to be known as Nvidia's GB300 Blackwell Ultra AI GPU. And it's going to be an upgraded version of the current Blackwell 200. So the B200, the GB200, we're now going to see the B300 and the GB300. Now, the market is expecting some already kind of technical process between this, up to 288 gigs of HBM3 memory. Obviously, higher memories is definitely very well strong because AI solutions and AI workloads are very memory intensive. So that's going to be a huge benefactor there. Now, I'm going to end up saying that a lot of these things are actually coming from Nvidia's overall roadmap. They already told us that the Blackwell GPU, and I'm going to share the roadmap here, is expected to have 288 gigs. Now, there are reports that we are going to see an increase in power, where the thermal design power for these GB200s and the B300 is going to be about 1.4 kilowatt, increasing performance capabilities. And there are estimates of up to 50% faster than the GB200 in FP4 computing. So the market is already expecting kind of a lot of improvements in the performance and also an increase of power. Because of the increase of power, the market is expecting this to be a fully liquid cooled system to manage this huge power requirements. And then the market is also expecting shipping to happen in Q3 of 2025 following the conference announcements. Nvidia usually kind of starts to ramp up their products in the second half of the year. So late Q3, early Q4 is when I'm expecting this Blackwell product. So again, this is going to be pretty cool. And one thing is this Blackwell, it's just going from the B200 to the B300. So there's not going to be too much changes, in my opinion, from this platform. If there is anything dramatically different here, I do believe that could be very, very bullish for the stock. Now, the next thing we are going to hear is about the Rubin architecture preview. And again, we do have kind of remarks from Jensen Huang. Jensen Huang mentions that they're going to take a closer look at Blackwell Ultra. Then they're going to take a look at the click after that, which is called the Vera Rubin. And all their partners are getting up to speed on that transition. And they will also show what's click after that. And the click after that, that one is a little bit interesting. I wonder if we're going to hear either about the Vera Rubin Ultra or the actual architecture after Rubin. My best guess, I'm going to believe we're going to hear more about the Vera Rubin Ultra. So here with the Rubin Ultra, this is going to most likely be the R100. And the great thing here is we already do have some data based on their roadmap. This is going to be using HBM4 memory. Again, normally with these types of AI GPUs, you are going to see a huge performance boost, but you're also going to see power requirements increase. Now with the Rubin, production is about a year, is still a year after Blackwell Ultra. So I'm going to expect production here to be late 2026 with full release early 2027. But I think this is going to be the best thing here. And this is where investors are probably going to see some major catalysts. How much of this Rubin preview are we going to get? Are we going to get from something like right now we see the NVL72 from Nvidia? Are we going to get something bigger than that? And if we do, I do believe that could be a catalyst for the stock. Again, regardless, as a long-term investor, I'm more looking at the long bullish thesis. And I think no matter what we hear, it's going to be very strong for the long term of Nvidia. Now, the next type of things that the market is expecting is to obviously learn more about quantum day. So in the past, Jensen has had a few remarks about quantum computing. The most popular happened during CES in early January of 2025, where Jensen kind of mentioned that quantum computing can't solve every problems. It's good at some solutions. So quantum and hybrid computing, so kind of accelerating computing via AI GPUs, is going to continue to have their own types of problems and their own types of solutions. Now, what's going to be pretty exciting here is there is going to be a quantum computing event. And this quantum computing event is going to have Jensen Huang sharing the stage with executives from major quantum companies. And this is going to happen on Thursday. So pretty interesting because during that CES event as well, Jensen mentioned that quantum computing is maybe about 20 years away. And there's a lot of different CEOs that have mentioned or kind of dispute that discussion. So we're going to kind of see this comprehensive, balanced perspective of NVIDIA CEOs and a lot of these quantum CEOs to kind of see what we should expect from quantum computing in the coming years and the coming decades. And this is one where I'm not investing in quantum computing, but I am going to be listening to it to learn more about the technology. Now, the market is also expecting more NVIDIA advancements in the networking space. And again, from the roadmap, sometimes the markets and researchers just try to give you a lot of information that we can find for free in presentations. NVIDIA did mention that during the Blackwell Ultra, they are going to talk about their 6 CX8 Super NIC and their Spectrum Ultra X800 Ethernet switch solution. So again, we are most likely going to hear about this during the upcoming GTC event. And networking solutions is very crucial for NVIDIA, as this is what allows them to expand into these massive superclusters that we've seen, kind of 100,000 AI GPUs, and the list goes on. Jensen believes that eventually we'll get to 1 million clusters, and their networking solutions that they have here are what help advance those types of massive clusters. Now, outside of the typical hardware solutions from AI GPUs, from networking solutions, from optic solutions, the market is also expecting huge announcements in AI applications and other types of AI solutions. Luckily, during Nvidia's most recent earnings, Jensen mentioned what the next wave is for AI. And the next wave is coming agentic AI for enterprise, physical AI for robotics, and sovereign AI as different regions build out their AI for their own ecosystem. There are going to be plenty and plenty of updates talking about AI agents, and we can see from this chart here that perception AI was kind of one of the first AIs. Then we started to have generative AI. After generative AI, we're going to have agentic AI, and after agentic AI, we're going to have that physical AI, which is form of robotic solutions. Very similar to AI agentics, I am going to be very focused in the robotics and automotive innovations with AI. I mean, Nvidia recently announced kind of their Cosmo World foundational model. They have a lot of events. And most of the events that I'm going to be watching during GTC are mainly focused in the robotic space. Now, there are some things to consider that the market is still very iffy about. First, we still continue to hear issues or reports that maybe there are some overheatings with Blackwell cards. The next thing is U.S. export controls and fears of tariffs affecting the stock price. And finally, we continue to see kind of competitive pressures from Chinese AI labs developing things like efficient models with things like DeepSeek. Again, these are markets discussion. I think the market is completely wrong by thinking competitive pressures and AI developing efficient models is a bad news for Nvidia. I previously done an episode of why Nvidia wants AI to get extremely cheap. Now, overall, GTC 2025 promises to be a showcase of cutting-edge technology across multiple domains. From next-generation AI GPUs to quantum computing initiatives, the conference represents Nvidia's vision for the future of computing. With Nvidia's Jensen Huang keynote scheduled for less than 13 hours away, the tech industry is going to have a lot to discuss tomorrow.